my name is Rachel Edwards, and I chose to read the book Opening Minds, Using Language to Change Lives by Peter H. Johnston. On this infographic, I put down some of the big ideas from the book, which I will elaborate on in a second, as well as a few of my favorite quotes that I found while reading. So the first big idea from the book is that as teachers, we need to let students know that people make mistakes and it's okay. So whenever we make a mistake in the classroom, address it and then let the students know how we are going to fix it. It's really important to teach them that it's okay to make a mistake, but it's how you fix it that makes all the difference. The second big idea from the book is to encourage children to make connections. They can make these connections to the real world or other things that they have learned about or even things that they have felt before. This will enhance their academic experience because when reading a book, they're able to connect to a character's feelings because it may have happened to them before, or they may have felt a certain way before. The third big idea from the book is fixed theory versus dynamic theory, which the author spends a good amount of time discussing. People who have a fixed theory tend to only look at outcomes. They have a narrow way of thinking. And say that a child is misbehaving and is having a hard day. People who have a fixed way of thinking believe that this student will always act like that. Where people who have a dynamic theory, they tend to look at the progress that's been made and focus on processes. They have a wide range of thinking, and that same kid who had a hard day, they believe that the kid will be able to fix it and move on. They're always looking to improve themselves and get better. It is important that we teach our students to have a dynamic way of thinking. Another big idea from the book is to recognize effort instead of smarts. So if a kid does really well on a math paper, instead of saying, "Wow, you must be smart," you will say, "Wow, you must have worked hard." So you recognize the process more than the performance. The next big idea is using the word yet. This is something that I will definitely be taking back to my classroom in the fall. So if a student is frustrated working on something and they say, "I'm not good at adding problems in math," you say, "You're not good at adding yet." So by telling them that by hard work and effort, we will get there. So using the word yet is important because it also, again, hits that dynamic way of thinking. The next big idea is problem-solving skills and processes should be addressed often. So when a kid answers a question correctly, instead of just saying, "Yep, that's right, great job," you'll say, "How did you get that answer?" So it's having them stop and think about the process in order for them to get that problem correct. Same thing if there's a fight on the playground, instead of saying, "Why did you hit him?" you say, "What's the problem?" So this requires the kids to stop and think through their problems and come up with a solution. This is something that they can definitely use in the real world. Another big idea is alternatives to praise. So the author talked about how you have to be careful how you praise students. Because if you say "good job" to one student and then turn around and say "excellent job" to another student, suddenly the kid who you said "good job" to thinks that his answer wasn't as good as the kid who you said "excellent job" to. So instead, focus on the process. So you say, "Look at how you answered that question correctly." And then focusing on, the idea that trying is more important than success. Dialogue in the classroom is another big idea that the author hit. So having the kids turn and talk and agreeing and disagreeing with their partners, but of course they have to say the reason for agreeing or disagreeing. They're able to view things from another point of view and then make their own decision. So anytime in the classroom that students have the opportunity to turn and talk to a partner, it's good to try to incorporate that into lessons. The next big idea is social imagination and moral development should be developed. So as teachers, we're not just teaching academics. We're teaching kids how to be good people. They're going to have to know how to solve problems in the community, and we have to teach our students to relate to other people. The author also talks about mind reading, which is basically being able to recognize someone's expression on their face and other social cues. Again, this is something that will definitely help them beyond school. The second to last big idea is collaboration is a good thing. So allowing students to work in a group whenever possible is beneficial because they're able to learn from others. Something the author said that really hit home with me is that the teacher isn't the only teacher in the classroom. So the students are able to learn a lot by collaborating with the other students in the class and talking through things with them. The last big idea pretty much sums everything up is that we're teaching for the future. So all of these things will help the students in their future become functioning members of society. So we forget sometimes that we're not just preparing our students to go into the workforce, we're preparing them how to be good parents or good spouses. So we're teaching them how to be functioning members of society. A few of the quotes from the book that I really enjoyed. The first one was, "We open our mouths and our parents or our previous teachers come out. Changing our talk requires gaining a sense of what we are doing, our options, their consequences, and why we make the choices we make." Another quote, "Poor language choices have serious consequences for children's learning and for who they become as individuals and as a community." This is something that really stood out to me. As teachers, we have to take a step back and think about the things that we say because they truly can have a big impact on our students. Another quote is, "Social imagination is the foundation for civil society." Another one is, "Trying is more important than success," which I hit on a little bit ago. Definitely a big idea from the book. And the last quote that I really liked was, "A single comment can profoundly change the academic and moral choices that children make." So again, this book was Opening Minds, Using Language to Change Lives by Peter H. Johnston. I learned a lot from this book and would really recommend it for teachers who are looking to just look at things from a different perspective and how to better enhance your classroom.